I want Biden on his show, I want to see him in long form, right?
Mhm.
Like Joe's gone crazy about how Biden is this headed into the woods at night with a flashlight with dying batteries, right?
Yeah.
That's the
True.
Joe Biden analogy, and you say it's true. I want to see it in long form. Joe Biden did a 2-hour debate with Bernie Sanders and looked perfectly fine the entire time. There were no gaffes, there were no problems, right? If you watch his highlights on Twitter and take your views from there, do you think that this guy is a gaffe machine? You could do the same thing to Trump, but people don't. I want to see him on the JRE in long form and see if he fucks up or not. And that would give me a better lens through which to form an opinion on him than what I've seen already, which is the more structured, controlled environments.
Mr. Vice President, would you please put this small puzzle together? There are 8 pieces.
I hung out with black kids in the 70s too. That's great.
We
You
know
haven't
about
even
the black
smoked
children.
yet, Joe. You haven't even. You want to get high, Joe? It's like, well, 1 second. Joe goes in the bathroom and calls the police.
Do that. Have Joe
Joe
talk
Rogan.
about Joe Rogan. Have Joe and Joe. Wow, just realized
Yeah.
that have them debate marijuana. I saw Joe debate Steven Crowder on marijuana. One of the few times I've seen him kind of heated. And Rogan did a great job. And Crowder talks about stuff like this for a living, and Rogan held his own, if not won. So
it's so funny that would be the thing that Rogan gets like. It's like you don't love pot. What do you mean you don't love pot?
In
Things
particular,
like
he
that,
didn't love pot legalization, and Joe was all for it.
He did an equally good job back in the day, going back and forth with one of those ESPN guys about about mixed martial arts and how it was human cockfighting
Versus boxing, right? It was against a boxing fanatic. Yeah. That was early. Yeah. That was before the JRE, I think. But it was
yeah. He's got all his hair. Yeah, that's a while ago. I'm really happy for him. I'm glad he's making all that money. That's great. He'll be able to buy so much fucking elk meat. Oh my God.
He doesn't buy elk meat.
I wonder what according to those totally unreliable net worth estimators online, Rogan was already worth like 30 or 40 million, I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Let's say this $100 million deal is true. And that adds, I don't know, $450 million to his net worth, right? Like I'm trying to take out taxes.
Okay.
Whatever portion
Worst
of the
case
people
scenario,
own.
he's getting 50.
My Twitch chat says Jamie gets 10%, so that's undeniable.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not true.
Yeah, the guy who sets the cameras up and Googles ridiculous things, he gets $10 million.
Are you suggesting I misread it? Because I read it clearly. It was right there in the Twitch chat.
This would be like if we sold the show and all of a sudden Mitty Smitty had to get 8% out of it or something like that. It's like, well, he does mod my chat occasionally. All right, you count that. He plays a lot of games with Kyle. All right, going back to PUBG.
Most
all right?
reliable source on the internet.
I'm sorry, Mitty, but you probably don't get a percentage of the gross.
But anyway, of that, if he sells it for $100 million, let's assume that maybe half-ish actually lands in his bank account. Maybe there's other partners. I don't know. Maybe more. Maybe a 2/3.
For you.
What does that do to his life? If he goes
Nothing.
from being worth 30 million to 90,
nothing.
Yeah,
he's already got like a super nice house, and he's already got his family established, and he's got all the toys he could want, and he already does all of his favorite hobbies whenever he wants. He already has a schedule he makes himself. Nothing's going to change.
Does it impact his motivation on the show? Because now I feel like he's previous to the Spotify deal. I feel like he's motivated by growth, maybe by money, fame. I don't know. Something's motivating him to do like a.
Well, there's a contract in place now.
Right.
There's going to be probably a minimum amount of shows per month or per year or per quarter.
Yes, but he already knows the money amount, right? So like, let's say I'm a big time Twitch streamer. I go to Mixer and they say, Woody, you get paid this much and you have to stream 20 hours a week. I'm like, fuck. Doesn't say shit in here about how popular I am. So I start streaming, I don't know, the lowest effort shit I can find. My favorite game instead of a popular game. You know, like it will change whatever motivates you because you already know the.
But he already does that. He already like puts on the shows that he loves.
True.
Brendan Schaub was the guest 3 shows ago. All right, like he puts his friends on. He puts people that he likes on. Tony Hawk was the guest today. I don't think Tony Hawk's knocking any barn doors down with his popularity anymore. He was
great.
I mean,
Yeah, I see
know
where
what I
you're
mean?
headed on this. Joe already does what Joe wants to do. That's why he's not on this show. If Joe was desperate for popularity, we'd introduce him to 100,000 people or something, right? But Joe
Sure.
does what Joe wants to do. There's no, like, if we were like, Joe, we'll give you 10 grand to get you, he'd be like, yeah, suck my dick. If we offered
What are we
him,
talking about? Like 3 seconds of work? Because I'll like pop in and go, ha ha! And
I
then
don't
you
think he
send a
would.
check.
I don't think if we offered him $3 million, he'd be willing to do something he doesn't want to do. Right? Like Kevin Smith tried to get him in a movie for a little cameo for money, like $1 million or something. I don't know the money amount, but Joe was like, yeah, that's not something I want to do. And Kevin Smith is like, that's so on brand for you. Just to flip Kevin's the middle finger and say, I only do what I feel like doing.
Well, that's a great place to be.
Yes.
Like, why? Less people are going to see whatever movie he decides to cameo in than will listen to a podcast he puts out over the course of a month. Like, not even close. He's bigger than Stern. He's bigger than everyone at this point. Nobody holds a candle. The only person I can think of with like big active listeners, maybe Rush Limbaugh.
Sean
Rush
Hannity's
Limbaugh's
quite big.
enormously popular. Probably like Rush and Joe.
The people
are
with
top
nationally
two.
syndicated radio shows that go on daily.
Yeah.
And it depends how you like aggregate.
And how you parse out, how many people are actually.
Because
easy to
like Sean
manipulate.
Hannity does like his radio show and then his TV show at night. Do we add both those numbers together, even though there's overlap? Do we even add them at all? You know, and then with Stern, there really is no very accurate way to determine his numbers. Last time I checked, Sirius had around 35 or 40 million subscribers, paying subscribers, mind you. Most of them are there for him. I know the only reason I was paying for years was for him. It was only when his content shifted and became so lame. I was paying really for the best ofs because they had the two channels. They had Sirius 100 and 101, and I believe on 101 it's all reruns going back to like the 80s or something like that. And I was listening to all of that. It took me like 3 years to like listen to his whole fucking catalog of shit, thousands of hours, every road trip, just playing out, old Stern, best of Stern. And then when you finally get through that catalog and get to like, all right, let's see what he's doing today. It's like, he's doing a really terrible interview with Charlize Theron. I don't
Boo.
care.
Who cares about Charlize Theron?
I mean, I would maybe if he interviewed her like the way he would have interviewed her in 1993.
Right, got her to talk about her wedding night or masturbation or something.
Yeah. Like I notice you've got some big labia down there. I always the talk around town is your labia. If he was just a piece of shit to these celebrities, that's what I enjoy. I think I always enjoyed, the sex questions and stuff, but also that really treated them with a lot of disrespect and disdain. And you could tell that sometimes they were not accustomed to that.
O&A had that same vibe of treating celebrities kind of shitty, and it was nice.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I took a different vibe from it. I feel like he got celebrities to open up in a way they never would on any other platform. Like I suspect we got the version of Britney Spears that her friends got because Howard just, I don't know. I don't want to say weaseled or slicked his way into making someone feel comfortable, but that's maybe you get the intent without the evil.
Yeah, he massages them, and when he lulls them into complacency, and then he sort of hits them with those harder questions toward the end of the interview. That's sort of his style, but it's gotten less and less entertaining over the years to the point where I don't care about it anymore. And I realized I hadn't turned it on in weeks and weeks, and so I just stopped paying the bill.
So I like the Joe Rogan show, but I'm curious about Joe Rogan's story and how the Spotify changes it, if at all. Right? We've established he only does what he wants to do, so he could just keep doing that. Or I don't know. Now is he?
Maybe there's better content now. Maybe part of this is like maybe I'd love to see him do video of one of these hunting trips that he goes on. I'd love to see like a TV show that's just his hunting season. That it's him like packing up his gear at his house, and his buddies are coming over to meet with him. And maybe you throw in Brian Callen or Brennan Schaub, and they're sort of a fish out of water. And then they fly out to Alberta or wherever the fuck and get their gear, and meet with the guide and go through a whole hunting season, including like whatever they're doing when they get back to the lodge and the butchering of the meat and the cooking and the hunting and the eating and the bullshitting.
Might be.
I'd like to see
interesting,
all that.
But you know where that falls off brand? I don't think he wants to do that. I don't think he wants to share that. Like I feel like Joe's like, that's my me time. And
He's done something like that before called Shooting the Shit or something like that, where it was like him and Brian Callen out hunting.
He
But
went
I
on
want
some
something really
show.
in depth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that show Meat Eater or something. Or maybe
Yeah,
that's not
something
what it's
like
called.
that.
maybe
But
I'm
I
off
want
target,
something that's
yeah.
more about him and really like following right on his shoulder like a parrot. I'd like to get more into his life. I'd like to know about his home life and like I'd like to see his garage full of cars the way they do with Jay Leno and
Yeah.
Is he a
that
big
sort of
car
thing.
guy? I
He
didn't even
is.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's super into cars. He bought a $250,000 Tesla and he's like, Elon did me a favor coming on the show, so I bought a Tesla and kind of hit it back. It's like, what? If Elon comes on the show, I still can't buy that Tesla.
Oh, come on, you get the 3 at least.
But I want to continue not to work. I don't want to. Joe can do both. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is go ahead, Kyle.
I was gonna say I'm gonna get that Tesla truck next year. I think it's between that Tesla truck or a new Camaro. I haven't decided.
It also depends where you live, maybe. I just in my head, I'm like, if you go to a place that snows, the Camaro might be the wrong choice.
I know. That's what's in my head as well. It's like shit.
You might need
Depending
two
on-
cars, Kyle.
I
You might
mean,
have a 2-car problem.
we could make that happen too. But in any case, very happy for Joe Rogan. Very cool stuff.
Yeah, I've got nothing but love for him and curiosity for his story, right? Like, probably a lot of people do this, but I'm just like, I'm interested. Chael Sonnen's another great one, right? I've enjoyed watching Chael Sonnen's life arc since I started following him, I don't know, 10 years ago, whatever it was. I find it interesting. He has this opportunity magnet of a YouTube channel now where he talks about MMA things, and I wonder where that takes him. Does it make him an ESPN broadcaster going forward? Does it give him a job like Daniel Cormier's? Does he become the next Dana White? Like, where's Chael Sonnen's career arc is super fascinating to me, and I like to hear him do his thing. Do you want to talk about?
He needs a TRT clinic.
Ooh.
He'd be a good spokesman for that.